back to my YouTube channel. Today, we learn another interesting topic. But before that, kindly pay attention to something that I am about to narrate. It was late at night when a little boy woke up. He looked up at the sky and saw that the stars were dancing in the sky. Amazed by their beauty, he immediately questions, "Oh stars, won't you dance with me?" Now, consider it for yourself. Is it possible for the stars to dance in the sky? No, it is not possible. And look at the way the boy directly addresses and speaks to the stars. Do you think the stars are capable of hearing him or responding back to him? No. So here you see that the stars are dancing in the sky while the boy directly addresses the stars. So can you guess what are we going to learn today? Yes, what we are going to learn today are the figures of speech. We continue learning with the figures of speech. Let's have a look at what are they.
Today, we learn the figures of speech, personification and apostrophe. Let's go ahead and learn what are these figures of speech in detail. Take a look at the sentence presented on your screen. And the stars began to peep. What you observe here is that the stars have been given the human quality of peeping. So this figure of speech is personification. And what is personification? Personification is when inanimate objects, ideas, or qualities are treated as if they were human beings. Here you see, stars have been given the human quality of peeping. So here, an inanimate object, that is a star, has been given the human quality of peeping and has therefore been treated as a human being. Let's have a look at a few examples. The moon winked at me from the sky. Can the moon actually wink at anyone? No. Again here, what you observe is that the figure of speech is personification because the moon has been given the human quality of winking at the human being from the sky. So here, the moon has been treated as a human being. The flowers waltz in the gentle breeze. Here, waltz is a particular type of a dance. So here, the flowers have been given the human quality of waltzing, of dancing. Here again, what do you observe? Yes, the flowers have been treated like the human beings. The ocean danced in the moonlight. Again, is it possible for the ocean to dance on its own in the moonlight? No. So what has been done over here again? Yes, the ocean has been given the human quality of dancing. And so the ocean has been treated as a human being. Correct. The slices of the bread jumped out of the toaster. Here, what do you observe? Yes, the slices of the bread are inanimate objects, yet they have been given the human qualities of jumping. So here you observe closely, the slices of the bread are treated as human beings. Correct. Let's have a look at some of the literary examples. No night is now with him a carol blessed. Therefore the moon, the governess of floods, pale in her anger, washes all the air that rheumatic diseases do about. This particular extract has been taken from the famous play A Midsummer Night's Dream by William Shakespeare. Let me give you a brief explanation of these lines before we understand what is personification in this particular extract. No night is now with him a carol blessed. Now, in context of the play, it is a season of Christmas. However, the particular period, the night, is not blessed. There are no hymns playing, there are no carols sung. So, the night is not blessed with hymn or carols. Therefore, the moon, the governess of floods, that is, the moon governs, the moon controls the tides, the waves. So, the moon is pale in her anger and has washed all the air, that is, she has moistened the air. And because of that, the rheumatic diseases like flu, cold have been spread everywhere. So here you observe closely. The moon has been given the human quality of being angry, or rather of being pale in her anger, and also of washing all the air. Peace had deserted Devon. This is from a separate piece by John Knowles. Here, peace is an abstract concept. Yet, it has been given the human quality of deserting, of abandoning Devon. Devon is a place. So, here you observe that peace has been treated as a human being. So, here the figure of speech is personification. When all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. This is from the very famous Daffodils I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud by William Wordsworth. Here you observe closely. The poet is speaking about the daffodils that he saw, that he came across. While speaking about it, he says that there were a host of golden daffodils which were beside the lake and beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Again, here you observe closely. The host of golden daffodils are inanimate objects, yet they have been given the human quality of fluttering, that is, of moving about, of swaying and dancing in the breeze. Again, it is not possible. But here, the poet has made use of the figure of speech of personification. Last night, while I lay thinking here, some votives crawled inside my ear and pranced and partied all night long. This is from the poem What If by Shel Silverstein. Here, if you observe closely, what ifs here are nothing but the various kind of questions or doubts we have in mind. So here, again, these are abstract concepts. What ifs are an abstract concept and they have been given the human quality of crawling, prancing, and parting. Here again, this is an example of personification. Let's have a look at the next figure of speech. Oh trees, how majestic you are as you throw down your golden leaves. You observe closely here. You see, again these trees have been given the human quality of throwing down the golden leaves. But take a closer look. What do you see? Do you realize that the person directly addresses the trees? So this figure of speech is apostrophe. Apostrophe is when inanimate objects, ideas, or qualities are treated as persons, but more importantly, they are directly addressed as if they were capable of hearing. Here you observe again, considering the example that is displayed before you, the trees, they are not capable of hearing, but the way they are directly addressed, it makes us feel as if they were capable of hearing. So this figure of speech is apostrophe. Let's have a look at a few examples. Roll on, blue ocean. Here, a particular person is directly addressing the ocean and asking it to roll on, as if it were capable of hearing. So this is purely an example of apostrophe. Why don't you ever work, you stupid computer? Here, again, the computer is an inanimate object, yet the person has directly addressed it as if it were capable of hearing. So this figure of speech again is apostrophe. Oh Christmas tree, how lovely are your branches. What do you observe here now? Yes, the Christmas tree is an inanimate object, yet it has been directly addressed as if it were capable of hearing. Oh mother, how I wish you were here to see the sight. Now, over here, the speaker has lost his mother and he is actually directly addressing his dead mother as if she were capable of hearing him. So here again, it is an example of apostrophe. Let's have a look at a few literary examples. Is this the dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand. Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. This is from William Shakespeare's famous play, Macbeth. Here, a dagger is like a small sword, it's a weapon. Here, if you observe closely, the speaker in the play is directly addressing the dagger, which is an inanimate object. The speaker is telling the dagger that, come, let me clutch thee, let me grasp you tightly, let me hold you tightly. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. So this is purely an example of apostrophe, wherein the dagger, being an inanimate object, has been directly addressed as if it were capable of hearing. Then come, sweet death, and rid me of this grief. This is from Edward II by Christopher Marlowe. Here you see, the person speaking has directly addressed death. Here, death again is an abstract concept, but it has been addressed as if it were capable of hearing. So what you observe here, the figure of speech is apostrophe. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. This is the poem The Star by Jane Taylor. I'm sure each of us have learned this as a nursery rhyme when we were kids. This nursery rhyme of ours, which we have been learning as kids, is also an example of apostrophe, wherein a kid is directly addressing the little star as if it were capable of hearing, and the child is actually speaking and talking to this little star. So this is an example of the figure of speech of apostrophe. Death, be not proud, though some have called thee mighty and dreadful, for thou art not so. This is from the poem Death, Be Not Proud by John Donne. Here you observe closely, the poet again directly addresses death as if it were capable of hearing. Death again here is an abstract concept, and here the poet is directly talking to death, asking it to not be proud, telling it that some have called it mighty and dreadful, but it is not so. So here, again, this is an example of apostrophe. Now, as part of your assignment, identify or find out poems having the figures of speech, personification, and apostrophe. And also go ahead by explaining these figures of speech. As part of evaluation and application, do find the link that I have provided to you in the description. Go ahead and attempt those questions. Lastly, I would like to say, do like, share, subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon for further updates. Thank you.